Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Apurv Mehra, and welcome to the Med Medical session of important topics of third and fourth prof. We have the NEET topper, Dr. Kavan Parekh. The sessions that he took, they were all phenomenal till now. We have received fantastic response, specifically the topics of first and second prof, followed by the two test and discussion that he conducted. So Kavan, I'm sure you're going to talk about third and fourth prof, and also these are the students who in all probability might appear for next in the future. So this talk is relevant in all the aspects as Med Medical Next. So over to you, Kavan. Have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to you and good evening to all the listeners who have joined us up till now. I hope you have found the previous sessions useful. And today we are going to talk about the important topics of third and fourth prof for the common entrance for Central Institute, which is going to be taken now, right? So these topics are again must to revise. Now, the beginning of the session, I would like to again reiterate the fact that which we have discussed in the first session as well, in case if you have missed it. So the entire learning curve of this entrance exam preparation depends on these three aspects. One is good notes making and imbibing the concepts. Second is proper revision, and third is adequate testing, right? So we have discussed in detail regarding the revision strategy previously, and regarding testing and evaluating the tests, we are doing it since the previous two sessions, right? So as we all know, we are right now in the phase of revision and testing. So our primary focus in these months, in the upcoming months, for INI as well as for NEET should be proper revision with adequate testing, right? Whatever notes you are having, whatever source of preparation you have used, you have to keep the same source. You have to use the same source and revise it again and again. Minimum 3 to 4 revisions are required, right? So again, I would like to highlight upon this fact. What is AIMS Fast Track series? It is mainly a smart assistant for your effective revision, right? In this, we have given you a schedule of the different subject wise, prof wise tests, followed by sharing with you the important topics on which you have to focus upon for your revision, sharing and tests with you of 25 questions each, prof wise test, followed by the evaluation of the test and discussion of the important topics, right? Subjects in a topic wise manner, and how to approach different types of questions and different types of clinically integrated case patterns, right? So today we are going to discuss the important areas of third minor and third major subjects, right? So the first subject of third minor is PSM, right? It is the one of the longest subjects of among all the 19, right? Tedious for majority of the undergraduates, because we always feel that it is a boring subject and it is having too much of information to remember, right? But as far as the Central Institute exams are concerned, they are mainly focusing upon four dimensions, right? From ESM, mainly four areas are focused upon in the entrance exams, specifically the Central Institutes. One is epidemiology, second is screening, third is the national health programs, and fourth is the biostatistics, right? So these are the four areas, four core areas which are most important for entrance exam, especially the Central Institutes, right? And if you carefully look at these four areas, then you will realize the fact that these are the areas which are highly conceptual in PSM, right? These are the areas which are highly conceptual. They have great clinical application. They have great practical significance, right? So epidemiology and understanding the trends of the diseases, the pattern of the diseases, screening methodologies, biostatistics, these are all very conceptual, and they are kind of mathematical areas where the entire stuff or the entire content is objective rather than subjective, right? So it is objective knowledge. If you have understood the concept and if you can apply it in a practical manner, then you will always get it right, right? And the remaining one area is national health programs. This is the areas which witness the maximum updates in PSM, right? This is the areas which is witnessing the maximum updates. So regarding the common and clinically important healthcare programs like RNTCP, like blindness control program, ICDS, NVBDCP, Mental Health Care Act has recently undergone amendment in the 2017 bill, right? So these updates, RNTCP guidelines have been updated. We have certain new programs like Ayushman Bharat and many other schemes which are introduced by the government. So all this latest, we have updates in ESIS as well, right? ESI Act also, we have updates. So all these, all such areas in which we are encountering updates, right? Which are practically significant, which are related to the diseases which are seen in common clinical setups. These programs are very important, especially the updates. The updated information is very important, and that is what they want the students to know, right? They want the students to be updated with the latest guidelines of the government and the latest programs, schemes, and yojnas, right? So in the biostatistics, especially in AIMS exam and in other central institutes, sometimes numerical based questions are asked, right? They are not very difficult mathematical calculations, they are simple and relatively easy, more conceptual, right? Apart from that, the concept of different types of systemic errors, that is the bias, sampling methods, confounding, confidence interval, the different types of parametric and non-parametric tests, the sensitivity and specificity concept in the screening tests, right? These are all very important for the entrance exam, and they are frequently tested, right? They are frequently tested, so you should never miss upon these concepts. In NEET exam, the numerical based questions are less. They ask more about the different types of theoretical questions, the different graphical presentation of data, the different types of sampling methods, the different types of bias, errors, etc. Right? In epidemiology, the case control and cohort study, how to interpret them, what is odds ratio, what is the absolute what is the different types of parameters which we are using in cohort studies, right? The absolute risk, the relative risk, all of those parameters, the population attributable risk, these are all very important, right? The different types of study designs, prospective, retrospective studies, right? Then the different types of the trends of the diseases and the epidemiology of communicable and non-communicable diseases, along with the screening methodologies and the health indicators. These are all important subsections from epidemiology which we have to know, right? Mainly the case control and cohort studies, and questions based upon that. You can get questions based clinically framed question based upon these areas as well, in the topics of screening, also in the topic of epidemiology also. Then biomedical waste management is again a hot favorite topic. You will definitely find question from this area, either from PSM or from microbiology, right? This is again an overlapping topic. You should know the updated guidelines of biomedical waste management, how the different types of wastes are classified, how they are discarded, how they are treated, right? Then another overlapping and important area between PSM and pediatrics is immunization, right? Equally important for both the subjects. You should know the universal immunization program and its relevant updates. What are the different vaccines which are given at different ages? You should know regarding VVM, herd immunity, the practical ways of analyzing the vaccine efficacy, vaccine wastage factor, calculation of doses, delayed immunization, right? These all are the topics in immunization which are practically very, very relevant and important, right? At the level of PHC, we frequently apply these concepts, right? And we should know about them. We should know about the different types of vaccines, the color coding, the important adverse drug reaction of different vaccines. All of these are important topics. In the demographics, the demographic cycle, the different phases, the different indicators, their significance and their current values. Sometimes numerical information in the form of the latest values of these indices can be asked, right? Nutrition is again a common topic which is common between different subjects, many different subjects. The recommended daily allowance, the iodine deficiency, vitamin A deficiency, and the different nutritional health programs, right? The school health program and the different nutritional programs are also very important. Also, the different types of food adulteration and their management, their symptoms, the different standards of food quality control. These are all again very important topics. Among the communicable diseases, you don't need to read regarding all the diseases and their clinical manifestation, everything as we do in medicine. You can integrate the communicable diseases with microbiology and with medicine as well. Mainly from PSM point of view, vector borne diseases are very, very important. Vectors are again overlapping topic between micro and PSM. The vector borne diseases, the different vectors themselves, how to identify them, image based question. Then important communicable diseases like tuberculosis, measles, chikungunya, dengue, tetanus, the tetanus prophylaxis, which we have discussed in the previous TND as well. Regarding polio now, the questions would mainly be centered regarding the vaccine and the eradication phase of the polio and the new and emerging diseases, right? In the setting of coronavirus, this becomes a very important topic, right? So you can definitely expect PSM question from COVID, its preventive measures, and the epidemiology of the disease as well. The latest updates from the Parks textbook of community medicine are all very important, right? I won't tell you to read the latest edition of Park during your internship or during your final year, but I would definitely request you to read Park in your third first, right? In your third first, this should be your one of the aims to read the Park's textbook latest edition, whichever is going on, at least once completely, right? Even if you are not able to remember all the information which is being given inside, at least the conceptual things should be there in your mind. The latest information, the updated information should be there. And within the textbook itself, in the text, they frequently mention it in that way, that this has been a latest edition or update or modification. So that itself gives you an idea that yes, this is a new point which is being added, right? So also, if you are attending the lectures, classes, then any faculty would definitely stress upon the updated information given in the Park, right? So Park is not just a textbook of community medicine. It can in general serve to provide you information regarding many different subjects. It is like Robbins, right? It can provide you information which can help you in cracking the questions of many different subjects. So Robbins and Park and Harrison from my side, these are the three books which any undergraduate should definitely target to read, right? Harrison, if you cannot read it completely, it's fine, but at least the important areas, the important systems and important topics you should cover, right? But Park and Robbins, you can definitely read cover to cover at least once. Coming to the next subject, ENT and ophthalmology, they are considered as minor subjects, right? But in the current NEET pattern, we are having 10 questions each from both the subjects. And in the next pattern, we are going to have 60 questions each. We are going to have 60 questions each of ENT and opthal, right? So that is going to make a big share. And we can definitely expect that starting from the basic information of the subject or the basic concepts till the advanced and updated concepts, everything would be tested in the next exam. That is what we can expect, right? So as for the current trend of the common entrance exams and the National Institute exams from year, in ENT per se, the anatomy is very important. So definitely, if there are 10 questions of ENT, then at least you can expect 1 to 2 questions from the relevant anatomy, either from the ear, from the nose, from the larynx, from the pharynx, anywhere, right? You can get more also if in the anatomy subject also they have included these areas, right? So definitely you can have anatomy questions you can expect in ENT per se, right? So in the next pattern, when they are targeting that out of the 60 question, 10% would be regarding the basic sciences. So in that you can definitely expect that you will have 6 questions relevant to the anatomy and the physiology of the ENT, right? The pathways involved and the structures involved: ear, nose, pharynx, and larynx. So in the ear, mainly the hearing tests, audiometry, how to localize the hearing loss, how to define the hearing loss. These are all very important topics because they are practically very significant. So in Central Institute exam, this is what we have observed, that what is more practicable, what is more applicable in clinical practice, what is used, the concepts, the methodologies, the topics which are frequently seen in OPDs, which are frequently seen in wards. These are the areas which are targeted for making the questions, right? So hearing test, audiometry, these are all frequently done in the ENT OPD, right? So that is why they are frequently asked. Anatomy, especially of the middle ear. Middle ear is the most important part of the ear, right? And that is why its anatomy is very important. Coming to the diseases, the peculiar conditions like Meniere's disease, autosclerosis, malignant otitis externa, CSOM, mainly the types and its complications, the tumors like acoustic neuroma and glomus tumor, the new technologies like cochlear implants, brainstem implants. These are all very important from the otology or the ear. From the nose and pharynx, the juvenile nasopharyngeal angiofibroma is very important. Again, the anatomy and the blood supply of nasal septum and the anatomy of the lateral wall of nose, the nasal septum is again very important because epistaxis is directly related with the blood supply of the nasal septum, and epistaxis is a very frequent clinical condition which is encountered in ENT, right? Nasopharyngeal cancers, oral cancers, and the latest 8th AJCC TNM classification of the oral cancer is very important. Tonsillectomy, the different methods and indications are very, very important in ENT, and per se in all surgical subjects, the common surgical techniques and the common surgical instruments, right? The common surgical techniques and instruments, this applies to the all the surgical subjects, right? So surgical techniques and surgical instruments, this will remain important topics. These will remain important topics. The world of surgical fields revolve around the operation theaters, right? And the operation theaters mainly have the surgical instruments and the different techniques which are being used, right? So as a surgical field expert, you should have thorough knowledge regarding this, and as an undergraduate student you should have basic knowledge regarding the different surgical techniques and the different instruments which are being used. These are frequently tested in your viva exams also, right? So amongst ENT, tonsillectomy, adenoidectomy, tracheostomy, mastoidectomy, right? Nasal septal surgeries, these are all very frequently performed surgeries. So you should know basics regarding these surgeries and the instruments used. Again, FES is a new technique which has come up recently, functional endoscopic sinus surgery. This has multiple roles and multiple utilities, and that is why it is very important. The different types of polypoidal diseases like ethmoidal and enterocoenal polyps, CSF, rhinorrhea, and skull base fractures are again very important topics. Pharyngeal abscesses are again a very important topic in the ENT. The different paranasal sinuses and sinusitis, right? The anatomy of the sinuses as well as the sinusitis, acute and chronic sinusitis, they are all very important topics from nose and pharynx. If we come to the larynx, again the anatomy of the larynx, particularly the muscles and the nerve supply, right? Image based questions are frequently asked. Nerve supply and function of the muscles are frequently asked, right? Vocal cord palsy, especially recurrent laryngeal nerve palsy, is a very, very important topic, right? Laryngeal cancer, its staging wise management is very important. Tracheostomy, as previously discussed, the procedure, the different types, of tracheostomy tubes, their indications, how to manage a tracheostomy patient, that is known as a tracheostomy care. All these are very important topics. The different types of lasers, because now the laser based surgeries are in advancing stage, right? And in central institutes they frequently ask advancing topics, right? The recent trends, So lasers in ENT is a recent trend. Similarly, lasers in ophthalmology is also a recent trend. So they are frequently asked in the Central Institute exams. The radiological correlation with the ENT, the different views for different sinuses, right? The role of CTPNS, right? The role of CT scan for paranasal sinus pathologies. These are all very important topics and they can be frequently asked in an integrated fashion. Coming to the ophthalmology, again, visual acuity and the different tests of vision which are done in the common ophthalmological OPD setups, they are very important. Refractive errors, one of the most common cause of visual morbidity, is again a frequently asked topic. Myopia, hypermetropia, astigmatism. The correction of the refractive errors is again very important. How to prescribe spectacles, how to calculate the number, power, etc. Right? Then comes the important topics, neuro-ophthalmology and retina. These are both very, very important topics. You can get image-based questions. You can get integrated questions with neuromedicine, with anatomy. We have discussed one such question previously also in our first END session. I hope you recollect it, right? So these are very important topics. Visual pathway is very important. The different organs of the central nervous system, the different parts which are involved in the pathway, their importance is again very important in correlating the neuro-ophthalmology with the neuroanatomy. Then cornea and conjunctiva, the corneal ulcers, the corneal pathologies, dystrophies, they are very important. Different types of glaucomas, cataracts is always a frequently asked topic. More importantly, cataract surgeries are frequently asked in the exam because they are one surgery which an undergraduate is expected to know. And there are many different advancements again in cataract surgeries as well, right? So you should be aware about those. You should be aware about different types of glaucoma, the different types of tonometers, right? And tonometry, the common surgeries which are used for glaucoma correction, right? So the common OPD procedures like retinoscopy, the different darkroom procedures, they should also be known to you, and the basics of some common surgeries like cataract and glaucoma surgeries, right? So these are the important topics from ophthalmology which you should know. And particularly in AIMS exam, because the Rajendra Prasad Institute is world famous for ophthalmology, and they are the ones who make the opthal section of the AIMS exam. You frequently find around 10 to 12 questions from ophthalmology, and some of them are really challenging, right? So many a times we have seen that ophthalmology is one of the difficult sections in the AIMS paper, right? Coming to the important areas of third major prof. Now see, before we discuss these important areas, what you should remember is in the major clinical subjects, try to be the jack of all rather than the king of none, right? So this is one line which you should remember in the clinical subjects. Try to cover the larger span, try to cover the variety of topics rather than going into the undue depth of one particular topic, right? Because these major clinical subjects are like ocean. They are as deep as an ocean. The more you dive inside, the more you might feel very interesting, you might feel very connected to it, but you have to always remember that you will always be running short of time, especially in this particular frame of preparation where we are standing right now, right? This is very crucial, and we have discussed in the previous session also, time is money. In this phase of preparation, time is money, and you cannot afford to go in undue depth of each and every topic, right? So try to be the jack of all, try to cover the topics in a horizontal manner, try to cover a wider range of topics, and try to attain around 50-60% depth of the topic rather than going into the complete depth. You won't be asked, especially for the so-called difficult topics, you won't be asked very deep concepts or very high level of concepts, right? You will be tested for the basic concepts as well. And in the next exam particularly, because it is going to be a common exam for giving you the MBBS degree as well as making you qualified for post graduation, they are going to test basic concepts more. This is what we are expecting, because in medicine, if you see, you are going to have 120 questions. So any examiner, if you consider that a person, an examiner will ask at even 2 questions from one particular topic, then also they are going to cover around 60 topics. Then also they are going to cover around 60 topics, right? And if they are going to ask 2 questions, then obviously they are not going, they may ask one difficult and one easy question, but they are never going to ask two difficult questions. It is more probable that they will ask two easy and doable questions rather than two very high level of question, high level difficult question, right? So this is what I want to highlight, that in major clinical subjects where in next you are going to have 120 questions, try to cover wider range of topics, right? And that is why if you see the list of important topics also, it is exhaustive, right? It is exhaustive because I have tried to cover all possible important topics, right, which you should know. And questions have come over a period of so many years from all these questions, all these topics. So the first and the most important system of medicine is the cardiovascular system, where ECG, along with the arrhythmias and the different ECG patterns of arrhythmias, it is one of the most important topics. In AIMS exam, frequently 2 to 3 questions are witnessed from the topic of ECG, right? So you should know the ECG pattern of the common conditions, especially the arrhythmias, and then other important conditions like MI, different types of MI, pericarditis, hypokalemia, hyperkalemia, etc., right? So rheumatic heart disease, because it is an overlapping topic, it is frequently asked among all the valvular heart disease. Coronary artery disease is an evergreen topic. Infective endocarditis is again a very important topic from pathology point of view also, and from medicine point of view. Pericarditis is very important topic. And then you have hypertension, the different types of hypertension and their management. In medicine, please remember, the drugs are equally important, right? The drugs are equally important. So you should make it a point that when you are reading medicine, you try to integrate your pharmacology, right? Because many of the medicine questions will be based upon the management, and more importantly the drugs, pharmacotherapy, right? So it is very important for you to revise pharmacology side by side. It will reduce your workload as well. It will make your revision uh, less time consuming and more effective. Coming to the RS system, COPD, lung cancers, interstitial lung diseases, ARDS, different types of respiratory failures, obstructive sleep apnea, the pneumonias, the different organisms causing pneumonias in different settings. Mainly the healthcare associated pneumonia and the ventilator associated pneumonias are very important. Pulmonary embolism, sarcoidosis, because it is related to RS and rheumat as well, right? So these are very important topics from RS. Please remember that when we are talking of Central Institute exam, the emergency conditions are given preference, right? The emergency conditions, clinical conditions are of priority. So in any system or in any subsection, whenever you are coming across an emergency clinical condition, it is always going to be important. So acute MI is an emergency, right? Pulmonary embolism is an emergency. Then when we talk of surgery, pneumothorax is an emergency. CV stroke is an emergency. Epilepsy is an emergency, right? Diabetic ketoacidosis is an emergency. AKI is an emergency. So what you realize from this fact is majority of the important topics are clinically emergency situations, and they are frequently asked in AIMS exam and other central institute, because the emergency medical care and management is very important from a doctor's point of view. If we talk of rheumatology, in rheumat, the topics like RA, ankylosing spondylitis, gout, Sjogren's syndrome, systemic sclerosis, vasculitis, these are all very important. Rheumat is again an area which is overlapping with multiple subjects. So if you see RA, AS, gout, they will overlap with orthopedics. If you see vasculitis, it will overlap with pathology. So try to read these topics in an integrated manner. So when you are reading rheumat from medicine, try to cover the orthopedics aspect of RAAS and gout simultaneously. That will reduce the time when you will read orthopedics in the future, right? Coming to the GIT, mainly the liver is very important. Hepatobiliary system and particularly liver is important from medicine point of view. Gallbladder and pancreas is important from surgical point of view. So alcoholic liver disease, the different types of hepatitis, especially hepatitis B, then portal hypertension, then hepatic encephalopathy, Wilson's disease, hemochromatosis, that is the metabolic liver disease, and amongst GIT per se, malabsorption syndromes, IBD, IBS, then in peptic ulcer disease, surgical point of view, it is more important. Pharmacology is more important, and that we have discussed in the pharma as well, right? In coming to neuromedicine, again, the stroke and different stroke syndromes, they are directly related with neuroanatomy, so correlate with anatomy. Epilepsy, different drugs of epilepsy correlate with pharma. Parkinson's disease, dementia, these are the topics which are overlapping between medicine and psychiatry. So try to correlate these subjects from both the these topics from both the subjects, right? Then coming to the myasthenia gravis and other neuromuscular disorders, they are also very important. In endocrine system, diabetes is one of the most important topic, followed by Cushing syndrome, that is the adrenal disorders. SIADH, osteoporosis, again an overlapping topic. Thyroid disorders, again an overlapping topic between medicine and surgery. So if you see, if you remove these overlapping topics, then the list becomes short, right? Then the list becomes short. So you don't need to be afraid of the long list, because majority of these topics, they are overlapping, and if you have covered them well from one particular source, one particular subject, you can skip them from other subjects. In nephro, AKI, CKD, glomerulonephritis, renal tubular acidosis, they are all important topics. The fluid and electrolyte abnormalities, mainly sodium and potassium abnormalities, acidosis and alkalosis, the metabolic and respiratory types, these are all very important, right? You can get even numerical based questions from acidosis and alkalosis. Coming to the surgical topics, breast is a very important topic. Breast cancer is the single most important topic which you should revise in the from the breast at last, right? The benign pathologies like fibroadenoma, phyllodes tumor, fat necrosis, the screening of breast cancer, mammography, BI-RADS scoring, these are all directly related with radiology. So try to integrate with radio and read, right? Even the new methods of breast cancer screening and the oncotype screening, they are also very important. Breast cancer surgeries are also important, they are asked frequently. Thyroid malignancies and thyroid surgeries are very, very important. So from thyroid, in medicine, you should focus upon the hyper and hypothyroidism. In surgery, you should focus upon the malignancies, right? Coming to the GIT, GIT is the one of the largest sections of surgery, right? The proper GI tract, the motility disorders, peptic ulcer disease, gallstone disease, pancreatic pathologies like acute pancreatitis, stomach cancer, colorectal cancer, the colonic polypoidal diseases, and intestinal obstruction, which is the emergency situation, right? So these are all very important topics from GIT. Apart from systemic surgery, from the general surgery, the topic of trauma is very, very important. We frequently have updated guidelines in the trauma management, so you should know that. The ATLS 10th guidelines are followed currently. Burns is an important topic. Transplant surgery, plastic surgery, and bariatric surgery, these are particularly important topics for the national institutes, right? The national institute, because these are the current topics, these are the trending topics, right? These are the trending topics, so they are frequently asked in the national institutes. Surgical instruments, sutures, the different scoring systems, they are very important. Scoring systems have recently been asked frequently in the NEET exam as well. So try to know at least the components of the score if you are not able to remember the entire scoring system. And you should know for what particular condition that particular scoring system is used. Vascular surgery, this is age-old topic. Peripheral arterial disease, varicose veins, DVT, again pulmonary embolism is included here. Urology, in the urology, the most important thing is renal calculi, its management, the different methods. Then RCC and Wilms tumor, like oncological topics. You have urethral injury, torsion of testis, BPH, prostate surgeries are again very important. The different techniques which are being used for the surgical resection of prostate. So these are important topics of surgery in a nutshell, right? Coming to obs and gynae. So in the gynecological section, for central institutes, oncology is the very important topic, right? Mainly the cervix. Cervix cancer is very important. In ovaries, you are supposed to know the one liners, the histological images, the key pointers of different type of ovarian tumors, right? So the key pointers of different type of ovarian tumors is what you are expected to know. Pap smear is something, is a topic for which you should know everything. How is a smear done? What are the different findings? What are the different stages of the pap smear? How you interpret it, right? This all you should know, right? So pap smear is a very important topic. Apart from that, menstrual physiology, gynecological anatomy, these are all very important correlation with the preclinical subjects, right? So in the phase of next pattern, you are definitely going to witness questions from the relevant anat and physio. And obs gynae is again a top subject where anat physio is asked in good amount, right? Like ENT. So in menstrual physiology, you should know regarding the normal phase, the abnormalities of menstruation, mainly the primary amenorrhea, and how to approach the case-based scenarios of primary amenorrhea. That is also you should know, right? PCOS is a very important topic. You should know, try to learn everything about PCOS. Contraception is a overlapping topic between gynecology and PSM. In family planning of PSM also you find contraception. So again, contraception is a high yielding topic. Infertility and the new techniques of management of infertility are very important. The semen analysis, WHO criteria, all of these are important topics from gynec, right? We have the sexually transmitted infection overlapping with microbiology, genital TB, which are very important topics. Vaginosis, trichomonas, candidiasis, try to compare and contrast these conditions and learn, right? So that you can make the differential diagnosis quickly. Mullerian abnormalities are a very important topic. The classification, the updates in the classification, and the different conditions like AIS and MRKH. Approach based learn amenorrhea, especially the primary amenorrhea in an approach based manner, also secondary amenorrhea, right? Genital prolapse and the support surgeries are also important. Coming to obstetrics, again, the physiological changes in pregnancy is one of the most important topics. You frequently get questions. Then systemic conditions, mainly gestational diabetes mellitus, pregnancy-induced hypertension, RH immunization, these are all very important. There are different interventions like amniocentesis, chorionic villus sampling, the gestational trophoblastic disease, ectopic pregnancy, abortions, the operative, again, some of the operations like cesarean section, the most important operation in obstetrics, like, right? Then assisted delivery techniques like Ventous, forceps, then labor, normal stages of labor. Partogram is very important from AIMS point of view. NST is very important from AIMS point of view, AIMS and other central institutes, because they are recently developed methods. PPH is a universal topic, right? The management algorithm with the drug dosage is very important. Then the different types of pelvis, the fetal skull diameters, MTP, first trimester and second trimester abortion, the image based questions of abnormal placenta, Down syndrome, its antenatal screening is again a very important topic. Coming to pediatrics, in the pediatrics, the developmental milestones is something which you should revise 1 or 2 days before the exam, right? Because it is volatile, and especially try to integrate the different types of developmental milestones at a particular age. Neonatology is one section of pediatrics which you should never miss, right? If I am asked to do one particular topic from pediatrics, I am going to do neonatology, right? All the topics of neonatology are very important. Among the nutritional topics, severe acute malnutrition, scurvy, rickets, they are very important. The congenital cyanotic heart disease is the second important topic which I will do. This is the second important topic which I would do in my revision. Vaccination, if you have done from PSM properly, then you can omit from here. Nephrotic nephritic syndromes are common between medicine, between pathology and pediatrics, right? So if you have covered it well, again you can skip. In pediatrics, majority of the conditions would be overlapping with medicine. So it is always advisable to learn pediatrics side by side with medicine, right? If you are taking up one topic of medicine, try to cover the pediatric aspects simultaneously. Then dehydration, the management of dehydration is important. Epilepsy, again they will ask regarding the drugs and the different types of epilepsy in children, which you would have done in pharma or medicine. Neurocutaneous syndrome is an overlapping topic. Inborn error of metabolism overlaps with biochemistry. When I discussed important topic of biochemistry, I told you to integrate the inborn errors of metabolism with pediatrics. Torch infections, meningitis, these are all systemic uh, uh, topics which are important from pediatrics. Updated AIMS protocol for management of any condition is important, right? So if you have updated AIMS protocol coming for any condition, then that particular condition and that protocol becomes an important topic. Coming to derma. Now, out of the 5 minor subjects, mainly in derma, you will find many questions in your NEET exam, right? So in NEET question, derma is frequently targeted. Similarly, ortho is frequently targeted in the central institutes, right? So among the minor subjects in NEET, again ortho is targeted in NEET as well. It is not like that only National Institute. Derma is frequently targeted in NEET, right? So ortho and derma can no longer be considered as minor subjects, right? This is actually very fruitful, or it is very high yielding on our aspect from students point of view, because these are considered as short subjects. They have limited content and higher output, right? Also the questions are easy, the questions are doable, so the strike rate is also more. So if you are getting 10 to 12 questions from derma and ortho, you can easily get 90% or 95% strike rate with by investment of less amount of time compared to medicine and surgery. So in derma, the main sections which are important are vesiculobullous disorders, the image based, especially the immunofluorescence images, the histopathological images are very important. Infections are very important. Again, you can correlate it with microbiology and with PSM. Leprosy is one of the important infections in derma, right? Similarly, dermatophytes, right? You can study it with mycology as well. Scabies is important. Again, the sexual transmitted infections, you can read side by side with OG and PSM, right? Coming to neurocutaneous disorders, I have already said they are overlapping topics. Papillosquamous is the second important area, right? So vesiculobullous, infections, and papillosquamous. These are the 3 important areas which you should never miss, right? Psoriasis and other conditions, they are very important. Their treatment, their findings, everything is important. Dermatitis, especially atopic dermatitis and urticaria, they are important. Disorders of pigmentation is the 4th important area which I will not miss in dermatology, right? And especially vitiligo. Then comes the acne and alopecia. Acne management, the different types of alopecia, scarring and non-scarring. The image-based questions from annular lesions from different types of rash and malignant melanoma. Again, it is a very important topic because it is overlapping between surgery and dermat, right? So these are important topics of derma. Now coming to next topic, radio. So in radiology, if you see the integrated questions, majority of the questions would be integrated with some other subject like surgery, medicine, pedia, OG, etc. Right? If you just fetch out the radiological investigation based question from any paper, then you will definitely get around 8 to 10 questions in which a radiological image is being asked, right? So they are all topics of the other subjects as well, and they all topics can belong to radiology as well. And frequently when a radiology image is being provided, it is always a spotter and it is very easy to make the diagnosis. So in a long case, if you are having a radiological image, then that image can definitely help you to reach to the answer in a very quick manner, because it will be a classical image. In most of the cases, it will be a classical image which will directly help you make the diagnosis, because radiology is a subject of images and the visual understanding and interpretation, right? So the images of radiology will always be one-stop solution to getting the answer. The basics of different imaging modalities, the technical aspects, and the basic physics of the different modalities is important, right? Not that much important, but at least the clinical aspects of the imaging modalities you should know. I don't ask you to go into the great depths of the physics, right? But because the majority of the questions would be in a case-based manner now, right? Coming to chest X-ray, the single most important radiological investigation is chest X-ray, right? So you should you should know the findings of different diseases on chest X-ray, the peculiar named signs, right? Then barium and IVP, these are all important topics from exam point of view, right? Barium and IVP, again, they are having characteristic images, they are having characteristic named findings and signs. They are very important. Neuroradiology is frequently used for making integrated questions. Mainly the role of CT scan in hemorrhagic conditions is one area which is frequently asked. That is the EDH, SDH, SAH, etc. The second important area is the brain tumors, right? The neuroradiology of brain tumors. MSK, the bone tumors and infections are the single most important section from radiology point of view, and always it is advisable to integrate it with ortho, right? So if you are in ortho, when sir teaches, sir always uses the radiological images side by side, so that makes the this part of radiology covered along with ortho simultaneously. Basic physics and radiation protection are important. Coming to orthopedics, in orthopedics, upper limb traumatology and fractures is the first topic which I would like to revise during my revision, followed by bone infections, tumors, and tuberculosis, because these are overlapping topics. Spinal injuries, sports injuries, these are frequently targeted in institutes of national importance, right? So you should be aware of these. Coming to the lower limb fractures, then nerve injuries is again one topic which I will never miss, right? Because it has direct correlation with anatomy as well. Metabolic and rheumatic bone diseases, osteoporosis, RA, then osteoarthritis, AS, rickets, all of these are overlapping topics. So if you have covered it from one place, you don't need to do it from another. CTEV and DDH are the pediatric orthopedic topics which are always asked when this particular section is taken. Orthopedic instruments, implants, and the different clinical tests. The video-based questions have come, and the different types of orthopedic instruments are frequently asked in AIMS exam, right? So you should never miss upon this topic as well. Coming to psychiatry, again in psychiatry, psychiatry and anesthesia, in both of these topics, the pharmacological aspects are very, very important. So never miss upon the pharmacology in this. And here you can directly correlate it with the pharma and lessen your burden. Followed by psychotherapy, ECT. They are the specific psychiatric topics which are frequently asked. Amongst the disorders, schizophrenia, substance use disorders, and mood disorders. These are the three large areas which are frequently targeted in the entrance exam, right? So you should know in depth regarding the DSM-5 criteria of diagnosis and the different types of substance use disorders, how to differentiate them, how to differentiate between mood disorders. Then these are some smaller topics, but again, they are of high yield, right? So sleep disorders, eating disorders, sexual disorders, they are all 2 to 3 pages each, right? Try to correlate the sleep disorders with the sleep physiology and the EEG. That will help you in an integrated based learning. OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder, autism, defense mechanism, and psychological concepts, right? The psychological aspects, the fluids, segment fluids models, their concepts, the different types of defense mechanisms, they are all very important. Defense mechanism is something which you should always understand and learn, right? They can always give you a case-based scenario and ask you to identify what is the defense mechanism which is being used. So if you have understood it well, then you can apply your concept. In anesthesia, lesser number of questions are asked. And again, pharmacology is an important area. Critical care, CPR, ALS, BLS guidelines. This is one topic which I should never miss from anesthesia notes, right? Nowadays, mechanical ventilation is being used in a great way, work because of COVID. So I expect that mechanical ventilation based question, the ventilation techniques, they are also potential areas of interest for entrance exam. Airway management and airway devices, they are frequently asked. Pre-op anesthetic assessment and fitness is again a very important area which should never be missed. The regional anesthesia techniques, the pain management and analgesia, it is an upcoming topic. And so if anyone wants to target some recent advances, then you can have question from this area as well. So with this, we have completed the entire 19 subjects, the different IMP topics of all the subjects, right? I hope you have found this discussion helpful. We have covered all the subjects and the important topics, and we will be in the upcoming sessions when we will be taking the test and discussion. We will again be stressing upon these areas, and we will be looking how these areas are integrated when case-based questions are made, right? So with this, I have completed. Haan, sir. Yes, sir.
It's fantastic. The only thing is, I think when we make the test,
Yes, sir.
we have to stress upon the clinical signs
Yes.
and more of images.
Yes,
because
sir.
these are two things which will decide the future of entrance exams in India now.
Definitely, sir.
So make sure the test and discussion that you carry on,
Yes.
it has plenty of this content.
Yes, sir.
And I will also like to thank all the students for the INI test series and the feedback that they're giving. So we get back on the test and discussion next week. Thank you very much, Kavan.
Thank you, sir.